going to take out Dega. Didn't know if you could hear that or not. Getting ready for this. So as they get ready, Hardigan's going to get ready to drop the boot. As Dave Douglas is sitting out there, he's looking pretty racy as well. Who's going to get the best restart? We're soon going to find out.
Dave has got it. Bradley Ellison jumped down in front of Jason as well. Jason kind of just didn't get the start there.
And there's a huge crash at the back. A huge incident at the back as Edward Foster is rolling again. And Dave Douglas has managed to get into the lead, but Bradley Allison's sitting out there. We've managed to keep green. Jason Hartigan's just sitting on the outside of Dave Douglas. He needs somebody to push him. He needs somebody to help him out here, because otherwise he's not going to be able to get there. Dave Douglas is looking good though. He's got the position at the moment. Will he keep it? Is he going to be able to keep that? He's got Bradley Allison underneath pushing him, giving him that little bit of helping hand.
Jason's just searching for someone to try and give him a push at the moment.
He desperately needs... Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Dover, the 1 mile Monster Mile. Well, it's a little bit more than a mile, but the Monster Mile as it's known. A very tricky track, a concrete surface, a very short oval, a track that can really catch drivers out, and a track that can sometimes run very well for us, where we get lots of green flag running, or it can be a very tricky track where we get the occasional caution. But joining me tonight, as ever, in the broadcast booth is Jono Hancock. How are you going, Jono?
I'm doing good, Carl. How are you doing?
I am good, thank you. And of course, we have JP in the box doing all of the camera angles as usual. So tonight, Dover, it is one of those tracks that can catch a few drivers out. Very different to what we had last time out in Talladega.
Yeah, so this is obviously a short track, and one of the interesting things here is it's a concrete-based track, so it's very, very slippery there on the surface.
Yes, and very abrasive as well. The tyres tend not to like it here, do they?
No, they don't. It's very like you said, abrasive on the tyres, and because that loose, or we'll call it average surface, because it's concrete, so slidey would be the correct term I'm looking for. It is one of those tracks that you'll eat your tyres away very, very quickly.
Yeah, it does love to just munch those. So.
Yep.
So everybody's going to get ready for the grid and getting set up to go. I think we're on those sections. So let's start going through this for you. Forgive me as I set everything up.
Well, we got Jason Martin starting off on the grid, and we got Jason Harrigan, however you pronounce his name. I apologise, Jason, when you watch your spec. Hardigan starting from second, Edward Foster from third, Jake Maloney fourth, Josh Micklemore fifth, Benny G sixth, Michael Skurlock sixth, Bradley Ellison seventh, Marco Dortnack eighth, JCW 10th,
and then we've got Rob Fletcher in 11th, Hamish Gallagher 12th, 13th is Lachlan, 14th is Norman Clark, 15th is Daniel Stevens, 16th is Jamie Dyke, 17th is Phil Otto, 18th we have Lindsay Hobbs, 19th is Matt Hunter, 20th Raymond Yeager, 21st Bradley Kemp, 22nd Tristan Koch, 23rd is Kai Sloggett, 24th is Stephen Black, James Robbie in 24th, Mick Wilson 26th, yes. 27th is Matthew Clert, 28th is Stephen Williams, 29th is Shay Thompson, and rounding out is Aaron Mack in 30th place.
We both obviously went to the same mass class there, Carl.
Yes.
We get a great jump from Jason Martin there. Huge jump from him.
Brilliant start for Jason Martin. He got away like a greased whippet there. Absolutely fantastic start, and Jason's quite good at this track. He's got a good record here. Last year I think he won it, if I remember correctly, or he came very close to winning it, if he didn't win it. He does tend to like this track, tends to be fast on this track as well, which is always a threat for the other drivers. But tonight we've also got some good drivers up there that have given quite a good chase in the past, with Edward Foster and Josh Micklemore. Jake Maloney and Jason Hartigan, not full-time runners last year, so sometimes obviously weren't at these tracks, but they've been proving they're fast all year round. So they could catch up to Jason Martin, but he is a force to be reckoned with here. This is one of his tracks where he is strongest at, and when Jason Martin is strong at a track, he is very, very strong. He's coming off a bit of a high this week as well, as he took the Truck Series Championship, with Edward Foster as the bridesmaid again in the runner-up position behind Jason Martin, as is often the case when Jason wins a championship. But yeah, he's got a fantastic start there.
Yeah, and as we can see, all these cars to about 19th, I think, are running single file, and we'll see them very much down on that bottom line here tonight, running single file. It's very much a one-lane track here, isn't it?
It is. It's not like Daytona here or Talladega. You don't get multiple lines running here unless you're extremely brave or extremely talented, or extremely mad. One of those few things. If you're all three of those things, then you can do very well. As we see Jake Maloney, having a bit of a look at Edward Foster. Haven't seen Jake Maloney too many times this season. Jake Maloney very, very fast though when he's here, but sometimes he makes those small mistakes. He's still maturing, which is a scary thing to say when a driver that's that fast and there's still got some room to actually improve. That is a scary thing indeed. Jake Maloney has proven time and time again that he is fast. He's had a number of pole positions in the ANZCAR series as he tries to get underneath Foster. Foster just manages to block him off there. Great driving by the two there. Very close together. Foster just keeping himself in that mid-line at the moment. Not right at the bottom, not right at the top. He's just positioning his car so Jake Maloney can't overtake. And Maloney's going to have to make a big dive to get this done.
Yeah, I've seen Maloney been playing with him for a while there, but we're seeing Jason Hardigan catch Jason Martin slightly here at the moment.
And Maloney gets down underneath Foster, and he's managed to do it. Pushed Foster wide, and you can see the time Ed Foster has lost there in the 53 car. E53 himself has lost a lot of time going up high there, and that position has been lost. Now Jake Maloney's going to try and chase down the two Jasons. And as you said, Jason Martin is being catched by Jason Hartigan.
Yeah, it's one of those things, when you get pushed to the outside here, you do lose a lot of time, but you have the opportunity to lose a lot of positions too if we're running very, very closely together.
It is easy to lose time here. It's such a short lap here. It's 22 seconds, and a tiny bit more on top of that. It's
Hamish Gallagher and JCW going side by side down the back straight. As Hamish is trying to go into JCW in the final corner, and he does successfully there. Sorry, Carl.
No, that is quite alright. And if you get caught out onto that outside, you do tend to lose that position, as we saw with Joshua Carroll Walden there losing that position, getting forced high by Hamish. But yeah, this track is so short. It's such a quick lap here. 22-second lap. And it is easy to lose time. One mistake and you can lose a couple of seconds here. As we see Bradley Allison trying to go for position now. He was just looking at Mirko Dortnack, I think. And he's trying his best to get up there again. Again, just sort of trying to get that Rookie of the Race award. Allison having a great season.
Yeah, I was just looking at that, and someone else who's looking to make a move, he's fallen off a bit now, is Rob Fletcher on JCW. But he has fallen off the back of JCW a bit there.
I've also got Norman Clark and Mick Wilson as well having a great battle. And Norman Clark's just been pushed out wide, and that's let Mick Wilson go through. And Shea Thompson is also through there. So a handful of positions there lost for Norman Clark there. Lindsay Hobbs getting past as well. As I say, when you get pushed wide here, you lose so much time. There's so little grip out on this track. You need to be on the racing line. You need to be on that rubbered in line to actually keep the speed up. If you're not on that line, you do lose a lot of speed. And Jason Martin's just pulling away again. He is setting some serious times. He's almost 1.5 seconds ahead of Jason Hartigan at this time, which is one of the bigger gaps out there. The only gap that is similar is the gap from Joshua Carroll Walden to Robert Fletcher at the moment. So definitely getting that time. It's not going to be long until we start seeing some cars getting lapped. As we can see, Daniel Stevens is being caught by Jason Martin at the moment. So Jason Martin's going to get up to those lapped cars very quickly. But this is where you start to lose time here at Dover, is when you get up to those lapped cars, that lapped traffic, you start to lose time as you're trying to lap the cars. Of course, they don't have to get out of your way. It's your job to pass them. It's not their job to let you pass them in NASCAR.
Oh, very interesting moment there. We saw down the back straight, saw Norman Clark go under Lindsay Hobbs, but Lindsay bounced off the outside wall and in front of Tristan Koch there, nearly causing a wreck, but was lucky to be able to capture that back up.
And I think maybe Lachlan has taken some damage to his car as he's in the pit lane. He's coming to the pits. Another guy that has actually had a moment is Josh Micklemore. Looks like he's fallen off the server. One of our favourites, one of the top drivers, has actually disconnected by some technical situation there. So that is a real shame, and that's a big loss for this race because he was running quite high up the order there. And Jake Maloney's got a little bit of damage as well. Actually just trying to find him on my screen now. I've lost him. There we go. He's coming into the pit lane and slides it into the pit lane. Just going to try and go back and see what happened there to Maloney.
Yeah, quite unfortunate there for Jake. He was running up there in third, I believe, at that point in time.
Yeah, and he's actually disconnected, I think. So possibly some bigger damage than we thought on that car, and that's a shame. And that's unfortunately something we've seen a couple of times with Jake Maloney. Just unfortunate. He's very fast, but makes little mistakes sometimes, and it costs him quite big in a race. It's that thing of he just needs that little bit of seasoning, and then he'll be there, because he's got the speed for sure. over.
Well, yeah, like all drivers, they need to just get that seasoning about them, and that's the difference between veterans like Jason Martin in the series compared to young up and comers. I'm not going to pick any drivers out because I don't want to make any drivers. I'm not here to make enemies.
No, you're here to make friends.
Yeah.
But you do get that with some of those drivers that haven't been in the series as long. We've seen it. We've seen it with Jason Hartigan, where he's been very fast. He's been up there, but he's made a couple of slight rookie errors, which has dropped him back a little bit. He's got the speed though, and he's definitely going to get a win sometime this year. But there has been those little mistakes. Bradley Allison as well. Some superb drives this season, but he has made a couple of small mistakes, sometimes in bad judgment for pit calls, sometimes just bad judgment in positioning of the car, which has cost him a little bit. So there have been a few times this year where these mistakes have happened. Even people like Mirko Dortnak, who's been in the series for a couple of years now, we see him making a couple of those small mistakes. He's very fast. He's got the talent. He's got a win underneath his belt. But he does have some trouble sometimes, and he does sometimes get caught up in little accidents. He's got a little bit of damage to his car. I think I saw him going up into the wall a little bit earlier on. But he has the speed still. So, it's this thing of that, just getting that little bit of time under your belt, getting that experience under your belt. And when you get that, that's when you get that extra bit of speed, that extra bit of momentum, and start getting those wins more constantly.
Yeah, and that's the one great thing here about the ANZCAR series. We have multiple feeder series, as you said. Jason Martin won the track series earlier this week, and Jace Hardigan won the Xfinity series Tuesday night. So those drivers obviously get confidence and speed up through the ranks as they choose. You can just drive in Cup if you improve yourself and qualify for it.
Yeah, that's it. It is the best of the best for the Cup, and sometimes you do need to sort of just go, okay, I'm not quick enough for this. I'm going to fall back to a series for a while and just do some practice, do some more races in, say, Xfinity or trucks, just to get a little bit faster. And it really can help. It's not one of those things of admitting defeat, because these guys are incredibly fast, and it's unbelievable when you're racing these guys. You feel like you're going full speed, and then all of a sudden they're lapping you after 4 or 5 laps, and you think, how am I this slow? It does happen, and it can really mess with your head. It can really throw you off off the pace, and then you overdrive the car and you start wearing out your wheels, your tires quicker. All these little things that can happen. So it is a thing of, practice does make perfect in the end.
Yeah, it's definitely like any type of sport or anything video game or simulator wise. Practice makes perfect for anything in life.
It does, and it's one of those series that it's not easy to just jump in and win. These guys have been racing this series. A lot of these guys have been racing this series since the start of the ANZCAR, so they've been through a lot. But it gives them talent and gives them a lot of skill, and of course they do race other places. They race ovals quite a lot in other series, and we do see that quite a lot. As we've just seen one of the cars just making contact with the wall. I think it was one of the Insight Racing cars. Bradley Kemp, I think it was. Just a bit of damage on that car. Just dropping down a little bit now in time-wise. Obviously, damage isn't too bad on a place like Dover because it's not as aero-sensitive as some other tracks, but it doesn't help.
No, you always want the best aero that you can have at any racetrack, no matter where you are. But places like Daytona or Talladega, where it's more super speedway, if you tuck in behind someone in the draft, you can somewhat negate the aero damage if it's not too bad.
Yeah, you can sometimes get away with it depending on where it is, and it can sometimes help you out. But you're not always that lucky, unfortunately.
No, you're not always that lucky in many situations. You end up losing a lot of time. as we do have some big movers in the field with Raymond Yaggett and Shay Thompson, Matt Peacock, and a few other drivers out there tonight have moved up a lot of positions. That kind of pack have moved their way up quite significantly from their starting positions tonight.
They have indeed. Roman Jaeger making 10 places, Shay Thompson making, yes, Shay Thompson making almost 30 20 places. Sorry, brain going dead there. Coming from 29th to 10th, so really good run there for Shea. And we've seen Shea leading last time out at Talladega, so definitely coming into this race with some confidence. And Raymond Jaeger is one of those drivers that's been in here a long time. Has got a lot of skill. Has got a lot of talent behind the wheel. Just hasn't had that luck sometimes. So it's nice to see Raymond up there. They're chasing down Bradley Allison at the moment, who has got a fairly decent lead over them at this time, but is falling back slowly towards them. So a little bit of a gap between the drivers now. They're starting to spread out a little bit as we talk. And as they start to go through traffic, Jason Martin is just starting to make his lead just get a little bit bigger.
Yeah, he's stretching it out. Obviously, lap traffic plays a bit into that, as we are seeing here at the moment, which is that experience again that we were talking about earlier, I believe.
Well, so far they've lapped everybody up to 17th position, so you know a fair chunk of the field has been lapped already, and just keeps going. And this is what we're probably going to see here. We're probably going to see a fair few cars lose out and not be on the lead lap after about another 20 or so laps. Most of the field will be lapped if we stay green like this. But the drivers will be starting to feel their tyres dropping off now. The tyres are going to start getting wear on them. People are going to start wanting to get a caution out there to come into the pits. They're going to want to start coming into the pits as well, because those tyres are going to start feeling absolutely terrible now. And this is where you can make a leapfrog. You can absolutely jump a person in undercut. The undercut can be huge here. So some people will be thinking about that and splitting this race into a sort of free stopper maybe. Some of them are obviously going to try and drag it out to a 2-stop to try their best to only have to make 2 stops, because of course you do lose a lot of time in the pit lane, especially on a small track like this. You're going to lose a couple of laps when you pit under green.
Yeah, it'll have to be a 2-stopper anyway, Carl, because it's 200 laps, and from what I understand, the fuel range for the race tonight is only 78 to 82 laps here at Dover.
Yeah, nobody's going to, unless somebody can magically make fuel, they're not going to be able to make it a 1-stopper. And I don't think the tyres would want to survive that long anyway. I think the tyres would soon just walk off the car and just not want to race anymore. They wouldn't be too happy. But Edward Foster has caught Jason Hartigan now through that traffic. Foster made up some brilliant time there. He just managed to cut through that traffic much quicker than his teammate Hartigan, and is right on his tail now.
Yeah, pushing, getting through that traffic and catching him there, which will make for an interesting race as it goes on here. Only one.
Yeah, Jason Martin has managed to weave his way through that traffic expertly and given himself almost a 3-second lead now over those guys. So he's just pulling away at the moment. And we're going to see some drivers wanting to get back out there. And I think Josh Micklemore has managed to get back in, so that's good. He's 10 laps down though, so not the best place for him. But he'll be able to at least scrape from some championship points out of this. Not the best time for him, but he is on fresh tyres, and you can see the difference that makes as he's just flying past the field. He's just gone past Foster and Hartigan, and he's going to catch up to Jason Martin very, very shortly to get one of those laps back.
Yeah, hopefully you can get one of those laps back out here, but it's not going to make a difference when you're 10 laps down, unfortunately.
No, it will take something extremely wild for him to get back on the lead lap. But well, we could never say it wouldn't happen. These things, of course, can happen. Um, but yeah, it would be a very, very extreme circumstance for it to happen. Just quickly, while I'm looking at it though, on lap 48 now, just quickly looking at the championship, didn't get to mention it at the start of the race. Danny G has actually managed to make it up into first place at the moment, with Michael Skurlock second. Third, we have Edward Foster. Fourth, Josh Micklemore. Fifth, Matt Danson. Sixth, Matthew Cluett. Seventh, Jason Martin. Eighth, Dave Douglas. Joint eighth with him is Jason Hartigan. 10th is Hamish Gallagher, and James Roby is also in an equal 10th spot with him. Dave Douglas gaining a lot of positions from his win last time out.
Yeah, that was a real good race there from him, and we were lucky to have some onboard footage and have a chat to him before he won that race.
Well, he talked us through it, didn't he, really? He just told us how he was going to do it, gave us the spoilers, and ended up doing it. So I think we'll have to grab him up to the booth every time he races, because we're obviously the good luck charm.
Yeah, we either a good luck or completely stuff people's races by saying their name. Which I was going to ask you earlier, do you want to pick a winner for the night? But I thought, I don't want to put someone's race at jeopardy.
No, as the great Murray Walker said, is if I mention a name, somebody's going to dislike me. It's definitely one of those things, and we've got a few people coming into. Oh, Matthew Cluett's made a huge mistake coming into the pit road. He's gone into the barrier, and that is going to be a race over for him. Looks like his engine's going to be completely stuffed from that one. Huge incident there for Matthew Cluett. He might be able to repair that damage, but it will take a long time, I think.
That's unfortunate, but I'm not sure if you watched the Coca-Cola series here this week at all, Carl, but it was actually the leader of the race stuffed up his pit entry, which put him back into like 20th place, so it can be done even by the best of the best.
Absolutely, yeah, that is the thing. It is so easy to do here, and when you're on those older tyres, it is hard to actually, get it done, because you do have trouble getting into the pit lane. You do have trouble slowing the car down, and you can make a mistake very, very easy. We have got a few people in the pits though, and Edward Foster has got P2. He has got past Hartigan, so he's managed to do that in the traffic, I think. Looks like Hardigan just made a mistake, went out wide. He's just gone out on that outside line, lost his grip, and that's just given Foster a chance to drive straight past him. Foster into second place. Now, can he catch Jason Martin? That's the big question. Yeah,
we'll see how this plays out, because we're probably going to see our pit strategies start to play out very, very soon. In the next, 30-ish laps, if they can hold off that long.
If they can hold off that long, we will see them. You do see some of the cars that are sort of a lap down, are sort of being lapped, just flying past these guys at the moment as they put on these new tyres. And you can see the speed difference between them, so it wouldn't surprise me if a couple of the drivers come in the next couple of laps. Might be the best option for getting the undercut done at least. But who's going to take the gamble? That's the question.
Yeah, that is always a question out there, Carl, is who's going to take the gamble, who's going to blink first.
As Bradley Allison comes in now, one of the drivers that was relatively high up in the sort of top 10 area, so that's going to be an interesting one to see how that goes. If he's got to stay out there, we'll have to keep an eye on him, and just keeping an eye on the track as we go as well, because surely somebody's going to take a punt at this with an earlier pit stop, because the fresh tyre difference is immense here, as Jason Martin is starting to lap Norman Clark next, just going around Norman Clark, and there's been a bash at the back.
Roby.
James Roby, I think, was involved in that one. Yes, James Roby, and try to see who the other car was. Robert Fletcher. Just James Roby just going into Robert Fletcher. It looked like Robert Fletcher just slowed down on the straight there. He hit the wall, and
The outside wall.
James Roby just got into him.
Yeah, quite unfortunately. He got the outside wall, slowed him up, and James Roby had nowhere to go, unfortunately.
Unfortunate for them, and it's going to be very happy days for the front leaders, the front runners for sure. Those guys that did just stop are going to be absolutely fuming though, because they would have lost a couple of laps doing that pit strategy. So that's really not going to work out well for them. But the leaders are all going to come in now for sure and get those fresh tyres on and, well, get a free pit stop out of this. But will somebody be able to get a better pit stop than somebody else? We'll have to see.
Yeah, it'll be quite interesting to see. We did just see Bradley Ellison moments before pit, and we can see he's now 2 laps down. I did see him go out around the safety car though, so I'm not sure if he will get one of those laps back or not here.
Yeah, I'll have to see if he manages to get that lap back, but I think he's still going to be a lap down after all of it, which is a big shame because he was the first to blink. He made that gamble and it really didn't pay off for him. As we said, sometimes this track can have a long green stint period, and we did indeed get that. Almost 60 laps for it.
Yeah, which is quite good.
But yeah.
Jason Martin come off first, and then Edward Foster.
So Hartigan was a 20.6 with that pit stop there, whereas Edward Foster was about a 14.6 and Jason Martin was about a 15. So Hartigan must have had some sort of trouble in the pit stop there, maybe a quick penalty or he missed his box, something like that. Just go and have a
he
bit of a
lost
look.
out to Gallagher and Skurlock there due to whatever has happened there.
Maybe he's popped more fuel in the car to go a bit longer, but yeah, it does look like he was stopped there for a long time, so who knows with that one. We'll have to see what happens with that one. Maybe everybody else short-filled the car a little bit to try and get a bit of an advantage, and he's the only one that put the full tank in there. So he might be able to go a little bit longer towards the end of this race, so we'll have to see if he manages to catch up. So that's going to change up the sort of leading pack. Hamish Gallagher's going to get a good position as well as Michael Skurlock. Jason Hardigan's dropped down to 5th now with that one, with Joshua Carroll-Walden just behind him and Danny G just behind him. Danny G just the bit of a silent assassin at the moment, just sneaking his way up there. Leading the championship now. He's had a very, very good year. He's been very consistent. Still looking for that win this season, but he's leading the championship. Not a bad place to be.
No, definitely never a bad place to be when you're leading a championship. You can never, but there is also then a lot of pressure on you to continue to hold that lead in the championship.
And pressure can be one of those things that really affects some drivers, and especially if you've never really been up the top before, it can really mentally affect you, cause that stress to come out and really put you off your game, unfortunately. So hopefully that will not happen. Danny G's got a good head on him, and he's been here for a while, so I imagine he'll be able to handle the pressure well, and his teammates will be helping him all they can. Josh Micklemore and Jason Martin, of course.
Yeah, we'll see as we're going to go green this time by. As we see those cars have got let by the pace car there, come up behind the rest of the pack.
Yeah, a few people getting a lap back on that one, which they're going to be pretty happy about.
Are we going to see another amazing runaway start from Jason Martin here?
I would like to say no, but I imagine it is going to be. He's holding it back, holding it back, holding it back. When's he going to drop it? He's waiting, and he drops it now, and he gets a great restart. He just waits for that perfect moment and launches it when he wants to. And that's the joy of being the leader, is you can get that really good restart. And Foster has been caught out a little bit by that because Hamish Gallagher's got a slightly better restart than him and is now sitting underneath him. Foster on the outside right now, being pushed outside by Gallagher, having to run that high line, which is not optimal tonight. You really don't want to be up there, and it looks like Foster's going to lose that second place position. He's going to have to slot down behind Gallagher so he doesn't lose another position to his teammate Jason Hardigan, who had a great restart there, managed to get up behind Foster. Despite that little bit of extra time in the pit lane, he's managed to work his way back up there. Only back to third, but he's still in the running. Skurlock now in fifth place is also there. The polka dot car is ever threatening.
Yeah, it's always just in the background there, isn't it? Carl, we've seen it the last few rounds. Just lurking in the background.
Yeah, it's a card colour that's very distinctive, which is what I like to see. It makes my calls a lot easier. But he is always up there, and he's always ready to sort of pounce when he needs to. Skurlock's been very consistent this season, and it was only a bit of bad luck last time out that saw him out of the race. Otherwise, he might well have been up there for some decent point scoring. If you didn't know, the reason he got out of last race was because he went a bit turtle, got stuck on his roof and ended up getting a penalty for it and getting out of the session, unfortunately. So it was a rather big crash. Luckily, he was okay from it, though.
Yeah, that's one thing that we're lucky to have in sim racing, is we don't actually get hurt when we wreck the cars, unless you have very strong hydraulic movement systems or direct drive wheels, then sometimes you have that risk of getting somewhat hurt, as we've seen in videos on the internet.
Yeah, there's always that risk of breaking a thumb. It's an ever-present risk in sim racing nowadays. Jason Martin is starting to pull that gap away again. Just Hamish Gallagher now in pursuit, with Edward Foster all over the back of him now. So Foster's going to want to try and get back past him and see if he can catch Martin.
And talking of Hamish Gallagher, he was the driver to finish second in the Xfinity Series, I believe, from memory. And he has been floating around in the top here with some unfortunate events happening to him in previous races. But he is a very quick driver out there.
Yeah, there is no doubting his speed. He's definitely got that in spades, and he always seems to be there or thereabouts. Sort of likened him to Joshua Carroll Walden last season, just always lurking there in the sort of top 10, doing a really good job out there. And he has had that sort of that bit of go this season where he has managed to keep in those top 10 position. He's been quite consistent, and it's what we like to see. It's good for him to actually build some confidence and things like that. But Edward Foster has put in all the pressure he can on him right now, trying his best to get past. He's starting to look high and low and really pushing it to try and see if he can get past Gallagher.
Yeah, he's really got, as we see him go underneath here in 1 and 2, that he'll get the job done. Will Hamish lose more spots, so
yes, it's possible he could lose a second spot.
Maybe in 3 and 4 here, he may lose a spot, as Jason's pushing the issue to go underneath in 3 and 4.
And as we said, when you get pushed out to that outside line, you just lose time, just tumbles away. And you saw it there with Gallagher. Just got caught to that outside line, and that time just fell away from him, losing 2 spots almost instantaneously there.
Yeah, and I also find that it's very bad for you to continue to lose spots, because the drive from that outside, because it's a slipperier track, is not great. So you'll see the cars behind you creep up a lot quicker.
And then you have problems with things like closing speed, and that's when accidents can happen as well. It's, you know, if a driver's behind you and not completely sort of focused on you, they can easily go up and hit you relatively hard. So, you know, these are some of the things that you have to look out for when you're driving these short tracks, these short sort of 1 mile ovals, 1.5 mile ovals. They can really catch you out very quickly.
Yeah, it's one of those tracks you can come around the corner and there'd be someone there, and by the time you react, well, you're in there inside of them and taking them out, because there is just no time to react. If you have that opportunity, most drivers jump down to the grass there, because that black surface is very, very slippery again on top of the concrete. It going down on that surface then is even more slippery than the concrete for some reason.
It's just a very slippery track, really. It is one of those tracks that is just very, very slidey, and it's very easy to get loose here. And if you do ping the apron here as well, when you're doing a lap, it's very easy to lose the car as well. You want to run as close to the apron as possible, but you don't want to touch it. If you touch it, that's it. That's probably your race done and over with, unfortunately. But very easy to lose those spots very quickly in these races.
Yeah, as we're seeing Edward slightly catch Jason in the top three, slightly pulling away from the rest of the field.
We do, and we've got a bit of a battle sort of down the pack a little bit with Mirko Dortnak and Bradley Allison sort of trying to catch him a little bit. Mirko Dortnak's got quite a lot of damage to the front of his car now, and he's losing quite a few places, so he's starting to get caught up by drivers behind him, as we see one of the other cars coming into pit road, Lindsay Hobbs. Just wondering if there was a bit of a mistake there. It just seems to be coming into the pits, Lindsay Hobbs, so nothing too obvious on that one. Oh no, a big whack actually on the right front across the start-finish line for Lindsay Hobbs there. So some serious steering damage, it looks like. So Lindsay's coming into the pits because of that. Looks like a big whack there, and so easy to do on this track, and then almost lost it going into the pit lane trying to slow the car down, but did manage to actually catch it in the end. But yeah, big hit on the front right there of Lindsay Hobbs. Jason Martin is still pulling away though, and making time hand over fist, but now we have a battle between himself and between Hamish Gallagher and Michael Scurlock coming up. Then just behind him we have Joshua Carroll and Danny G, which is good. And then sitting behind them is Josh Micklemore, who's still 9 laps down, unfortunately, but he's starting to race these guys a little bit, and he's starting to gain a few positions just from retirement, so he's just going to have to hope for people not making it to the end to get a few positions up just for the championship points, really.
Yeah, it's good to get those championship points, because here in ANZCAR we do get some drop rounds, but you don't want to drop too many of those rounds, and you don't want to have too many bad finishes, or else your drop rounds are not going to be worth it, because you'll have that many bad rounds that they all add up at the end.
It all adds up at the end of the season, so it's you've got to try and do the best in every round you can, just in case you have a horror round where things go wrong and there's nothing you can do about it. So we're sort of seeing everybody sort of keeping single file at the moment. Not too much racing going on out there. So everybody's just sort of cruising around at the moment in a line, as we sometimes see here at Dover, because it is very much a single line track. You have to be very, very brave to force the point, and generally you have to force the point underneath the car in front of you and make them make the mistake, not go on the outside yourself.
Yeah, you really got to push the issue here at Dover.
And Danny G is catching up to Josh Carroll Walden right now. Got a little battle between those two. Nothing between them as they come past one of the lapped cars. And Joshua Carroll Walden just running a slightly higher line than Danny G at the moment, but getting a little bit better drive off the corner, as we see Roman Jaeger going past as well. A bit of a different line there for Joshua Carroll Walden. Danny G's keeping a much lower line than him. interesting to see that with drivers, just the sort of different lines they take sometimes. Because even though this is pretty much a one-line track, you can sometimes move it out by a couple of millimeters and slightly take it differently each time you go round, and that can make a difference too. Just based on your driving style and how much steering lock you like to have on the wheel, things like that. But at the moment, Danny G is sort of sitting there just on the back of Joshua Carroll-Wallen, just waiting for a mistake to happen, waiting for a chance to pounce underneath him.
Yeah, he's just waiting for his right time.
And we've got Norman Clark doing a great move on Bradley Allison now, just getting up underneath him and gets that position. Norman Clark moving up in front of Allison now. Allison dropping down to 15th. Now he's got to start catching up to Phil Otto, and that's going to be a bit of a task because Phil Otto has a good 7 seconds on Norman Clark at the moment. So a bit of a gap between those two now. There's going to have to be some serious driving going on there to catch up to that group of cars. Raymond Yeager's currently our first car that's a lap down, doing his best to keep in that position as well.
Yeah, there's two races in one out here. You got to be the first lap car if you're a lap down, or you got to be the first car on track if you're up there racing for the front of it.
Yeah, it's always an important place to be. Getting that lucky dog can really change your race around. And we've got a bit of a close fight happening as well, a little bit further up the road with Jason Hartigan and Hamish Gallagher again. Those two are starting to go at it, but it looks like Hartigan is managing to pull away a bit. So far, everybody's doing the right thing, defending in the right spots, just keeping the position of their car where they need it. Currently, Jason Martin has about a 2-second lead over Edward Foster, who has a 0.6-second lead over Jason Hartigan. But every time I look, Hamish Gallagher is getting a little bit closer and closer to him as well. So a bit hard to know which battle to look at now. They're all a little bit close to each other.
Yeah, and that's there's a lot of individual little fights out here on this, or races on this track.
There are indeed. As Jason Martin still starts pulling away, he's managed to get another quarter of a second in those last couple of laps. Just getting into the lap traffic again, just starting to get through those lapped cars once more, and he's going to have to keep that rhythm up. And that's something Jason Martin does very well, is just keeping that rhythm through those lapped cars, just getting past them, not losing too much time as he does it. Another person that is very good at that as well is Edward Foster behind him, the number 53 car. Tends to be very good through traffic and tends to side his way through without too much concern. So we should start seeing them hopefully catch up a little bit or not lose too much time. Jason Hartigan, his teammate, is holding on to the back of Foster though, doing a good job there, just sticking there, trying his best to keep in that position.
Yeah, these lap cars are really starting to, I guess, play some factor into the race here. As we see these second through to fourth all in a row now at the moment. And
Yeah,
Jace is catching Edward there. I'm not sure.
It's a bit of catching as they lap the traffic, and Foster just losing a little bit of time as he comes past the lapped car there, giving Hartigan a bit of a run there. Just managed to net him a couple of tenths of a second there and get him up the order a little bit. But of course, Hartigan now has to get past that lapped car too, and that sometimes loses a little bit of speed. But it looks like Hartigan got the better job out of that one, and he's starting to catch Foster.
It was Gallagher, by the way. That Jason, yeah, got the job done, but yeah, that was Gallagher that had to go around him the following lap. Jason is right up on Edward now.
Yeah, really closed the gap on him.
Yeah, we'll see if they actually race it out or just stay 1-2 as teammates and push through the rest of the field.
Yeah, it's tricky to know which battle to look at the moment. We've got the Downey G and Joshua Carroll-Walden show, and the Foster, Gallagher and Hartigan show as well. All three of those drivers are very close to each other, and one slight mistake will mean that one of those drivers will fall back either 2 positions or get a couple of positions. It can easily be done. But as they are doing this, Michael Skurlock is catching up behind him. He's starting to creep up behind him, starting to close the gap a little bit.
Yeah, and it's always one of those things with Edward and Jason here. Do you race a teammate? We've seen disasters happen in real life, both in supercars and Formula One, Red Bull racing. We've seen teammates take each other out, and you never want to be that guy that says, "Oh, I'm going to pass you," and then takes your teammate out.
No, it doesn't win you favours with the team usually. It generally leads to a very angry team boss. The one rule in motorsport is don't crash with your teammate, and a few times in the history that rule has been ignored, and drivers have found it to their peril.
Yeah, it's never one of those things that you want to do, but you're also racing your teammate at the same time.
That's it. Your biggest rival is always your teammate because they've got the same vehicle as you, in a lot of ways, and so your biggest rival is always your teammate. If you're faster than them, then you know you're good. It's always a good feeling to beat your teammate.
Yeah, well, you only got to look at Formula One, which I know you're really well knowledged in their car. They may have a main driver and a secondary driver in lots of those teams, like Red Bull, Williams. I believe still have 2 cars. I may be wrong.
Williams generally have half a car these days, unfortunately, with their financial status. But yeah, you do have the driver 1 and driver 2 system there, very much for most of the teams, in all honesty. Very much with people like Max Verstappen, of course, being the number 1 driver at Red Bull, and of course Lewis Hamilton being the chosen driver for Mercedes. And that is a very big thing. But in other motorsport series, especially stock car and touring car, you don't tend to get that as much. It's more about the driver, you find, and they can really make the difference as they just go past Bradley Allison there, Edward Foster, Hartigan and Gallagher. You tend to get a little bit less of the politics coming into action in American racing, which is one of those nice things. There's a little bit less politics involved, which is what generally ruins motorsport. But yeah, it is always that thing of, you do sometimes have that driver in your team that is that bit quicker than you. But that can be a good thing because you can learn from that and improve yourself as well.
Yeah, talking about American racing and politics, we have seen that play in a little bit with the current ANZCAR series or Invitational series with the pro drivers, with a driver losing his real life drive and another driver losing real life sponsorship.
Yes, both interesting things to happen that I feel are a bit extreme for sim racing. I feel like people need to they need to take it serious, of course, but there is sometimes taking something too serious. It is one of those things that it is a different feeling racing in a sim. Obviously it's very different to actual racing an actual car on the track yourself, because it is very different, and they do feel very different in a sim. A lot of drivers find it's a little bit strange getting it working, getting it going, getting used to it. As Edward Foster gets out on the outside line there and almost makes contact with the wall. I'm not sure if he did make contact with the rear there. He was very high there. And Hartigan getting caught out, and that's let Gallagher get through. Hartigan went high there as well, and that's managed to net him past Hartigan. So we see those positions just swapping around at the front there.
Yeah, and we've got a bit of a, I guess, drive away from the other two at this point in time.
Yeah, he managed to make some time up there, um, but it wasn't that great a time. It's mainly the time that Hartigan lost, I think, because there's a Hartigan-shaped hole between him and Gallagher. So it wasn't an overall gain for him, but it's given him a little bit of a breather, hopefully.
Yeah, we hit lap 116 to 200 here, so we're just over the halfway mark, Carl.
We are, yeah. It's going quite quickly tonight, which is lovely. And I'll touch some wood as I say this. There hasn't been too many cautions, which is what we want to see. Expect the caution flag to be out in the next 5 laps then. Um, but yeah, there's some great racing going on out here. But it's one of those tracks where you don't get the the super passing constantly. It is, you have to be very tactically minded to pass here. You have to get the right positioning of the car, or you have to make the driver in front of you make a mistake, and that's sometimes a big thing in motorsport, of making a driver in front of you have a mistake, doing psychology on them as you drive around the track at almost 300 kilometers per hour.
Yeah, it's very interesting Dover as a track, and a lot of people that don't watch much oval racing don't understand that even though they're all oval or a circle or whatever you want to call them, they're all different and have different characteristics.
Well, absolutely, and that's it. You know, they all have their own characteristics, and everybody has their own oval that they love or hate. Definitely some love hate, as Hamish Gallagher gets a great run on Foster there. I don't know if Foster made a little bit of a mistake, because he seems to have lost a lot of speed, or they just gained a lot of speed on him. As Hardigan goes down, he looks like he might have made a mistake there. He went down quite quickly to the wall, and that's cost him a lot of time. That's lost him a good second on Gallagher.
And put Skirl a lot closer to him now as well, so
Yeah, not sure what happened there. It just looked like Foster just slowed down a little bit, and they just caught him up. And um, maybe Jason was thinking of making a move on Hartigan, and it just didn't pay off in the end. Um, but extreme closing speeds. They have got a car in front of them that's a lap down. I think Phil Otto.
that was Matt Hunter holding them up a little bit there.
Ah, thank you.
I know his bright car.
Yeah, I might have been looking on Jason Martin's car and seeing the black car in front of him and going, wrong car completely. Yeah, so that sort of just cost them that little bit of time. But as you say, drivers aren't obligated to be lapped. They don't have to be lapped. They can race the leaders if they want to. There is the gentleman's agreement of not doing it, but there is nothing saying you can't do it. There's no blue flags in oval racing.
No, and if you have a rival out there or someone that you don't like, you can make your car as wide and as hard as you want to pass out there, which is something that can be done in oval racing. You can make your car very wide on a track.
Can indeed, and it's possible in road racing. There are certain drivers that have that skill set, but it's very rare. It's a rare talent indeed. But oval racing, you can absolutely, especially on a short track oval like this, you can really make the car nearly impossible to pass. Because if you position it in the middle of the track, or just slightly off the top of the low line, basically mid track, the driver's not going to be able to get past you, and they're going to have to slow down a bit on the exit of the track, at the exit of the corner, sorry. So they're not going to be able to get you on the straight either. So it means they lose speed, you lose speed, but at the end of the day, they can't get past you.
You sound like you've been practicing that, Carl.
A little bit. As we see Hamish Gallagher make the move now, he goes down the inside, and this is going to give Jason Hardigan a bit of a chance, but Foster cuts down in front before he has that opportunity. But Hamish Gallagher has made a brilliant move there and has managed to fly past Foster.
Yeah, I don't know. Foster's tyres are falling off as we do see him now sliding back towards Jason. So I don't know if Edward has used the best half of his tyres here, or if he's trying to do some type of saving strategy at this point in time.
It's hard to tell. It's hard to know for sure, really. Obviously, not hearing any lifting or anything like that through the corners. No major sort of fuel saving techniques going on there, but it may have been just a little mistake, caught out a little bit as he was going around. We are seeing a lot of drivers coming into the pits now, coming in for some new tyres, getting some fresh feet put on their car, because they are getting very slippery out there. But obviously the drivers want to go as long as they can, because that will mean they'll have better tyres towards the end of the race. They want to try and make this sort of as few stops as possible, of course.
Yeah, you want to always... Well, another big thing with that, Carl, is you want to be racy towards the end, where if you put them on too early, you're just going to get swamped by the guys that do wait that little bit longer than you.
Yeah, it's the overcut can be just as powerful as the undercut sometimes. With Dover, though, generally the undercut tends to be a bit stronger. But it can depend on the track sometimes. There are some tracks where it really can affect you a lot more. As we see Gallagher come into the pit lane, he's coming in now, and he manages to slow the car down, it looks like, perfectly, and he's going to come and stop. So the first of the leaders has blinked. So who is going to react to this?
I think we might see Foster and Jason come down together and blink to cover him, maybe to cover Hamish here, as we do see Foster come down pit road here and pulls up nicely in the pit lane there.
Yeah, nice slowing down for Foster. So how long is everybody else going to stay out now? So it looks like Hardigan's going to stay out a bit longer. Jason Martin is just keeping out there at the moment. He seems to have a good rhythm and a good pace on him.
It looked like JCW might have wanted to come down that time by, but he had a car on the inside, unfortunately. He tried to slow up and maybe get down towards that low line, but he had a car on the inside, unfortunately.
Which is one of those things that can really catch you out sometimes, but he does go around again. He's going around for a second time, as Danny G has gone in now, so Danny G is now stopped for pits.
Good old try to make a predicament, you look like the idiot.
Oh, it's guaranteed to happen.
Yep.
The curse of the commentator works both ways. And we think something's happened to Gallagher because he's lost a lot of time. I wonder if he got pinged for speeding in the pit lane. If he got a penalty or something like that. No, looks like it was just a normal stop. So I think maybe Foster just had a monumentally better stop than him.
Looks like he held his speed fine through pit lane, but
yeah, can't see any reason.
Had some slight damage. I don't know.
Yeah, so 15 seconds for Gallagher, so 14.9. So it wasn't much time difference, but yeah, Foster just had the better entry and exit, it looks like. As Jason Hartigan stays out, we have had Jason Martin come into the pits as well now. So Hartigan and Cher Thompson are staying out. Cher Thompson, of course, stayed out last time round at Talladega. And we've got a caution. We have got a caution. This is going to be a disaster for those cars that stopped then. This has worked out perfectly for Jason Hartigan, Cher Thompson, JCW. Jason Martin maybe a little bit because he was in the pits when it came out. What caused that caution though? Looks like it was Jamie Dyke. So not one of the newer comers. Jamie Dyke goes into the back of one of the cars, slows down, and then gets caught by the 37, and a big crash there.
Yeah, it looks like JCW got turned in front of him, and I don't know if he was trying to get that lower line to get down in the pits there, and that might, let's just stop them there slightly, and they've all caught up to each other and just become a chain effect.
Yeah, it was a bit of a double crash, that one, because you had the accident behind JCW as well. It was the 62 that went into JCW.
A lap car, yeah, so that he would not be happy with that, I'm sure of that.
No, he's not going to be happy with that one at all. So that is really unfortunate for JCW. And then Cher Thompson with the 37 getting caught up in that one as well. So Aaron Mack got caught up in that one as well. So they obviously were slowing down for that incident in front of them, and it caught them out. So this has worked out perfectly for the guys that stayed out that little bit longer.
Yeah, there's Jason is currently in the pit lane and away from his pit. Nice and easy there.
Yeah, we'll see how much this actually hurts those drivers, because Jason Martin's a lap down, Hamish Gallagher's a lap down, and Edward Foster's a lap down now, all from the
Yeah,
stop under green.
unfortunately, some damage there on the rear end of Joshua Carroll-Walden's car, so that'll be a longer pit stop for him and potentially put him out of the contention for this race.
Yeah. Yeah, Joshua Carroll-Walden's finally coming off pit road now, getting that repairs done. And we do see Raymond Yeager coming in, so Raymond Yeager is going to come in. So I think Raymond Yeager stayed out initially, but is pitting now. So coming in that little bit later just to have a little bit more fuel on board and a little bit fresher tyres, things like that. But this means Jason Hartigan's back in the lead.
Yeah, big winner out of that is Shea Thompson as we see JCW go down pit lane again. Obviously trying not to go down the lap is what he's playing at here. As we do see the whole rear and rear assembly of that car missing at the moment.
Yeah, it's some serious damage there. Real shame. Not what we want to see, but it, as I say, easy to happen sometimes. It's easy to make a mistake on a track like this. And that was one of those crashes where a crash in front of somebody caused a crash behind them as well. It was a bit of a double crash because the cars behind them were just slowing down, so they didn't get involved in it. But the car furthest behind didn't make it in the end, and just caught up there. So a bit of a shame there, but that has really paid off for the guys that stayed out that little bit longer.
Yeah, it has, as we see the cars go by here and the lights go out in the safety car, so this will be the last time by for the safety car and we'll go green again. Yeah, so the biggest winner out of it is Shea Thompson and Raymond Yeager. JCW still down on pit road as we're coming to go green this lap. Daniel Stevens also had a good pot of luck with that.
It did, and it did work out too badly for Foster and Gallagher. In all honesty, they managed to get back on the lead lap as well as Martin. So they are still in contention. As we go green, Jason Hartigan gets a great launch off there. Cher Thompson not quite as quick then. Cher Thompson's going to have to try and cover off Raymond Yeager. And it does it, just gets down and forces in front of Yeager there. Brilliant manoeuvre. Absolutely forceful, but makes contact with the wall coming out of turns 2. And that might just cost a little bit of speed for Shea. We'll see how that one goes. Raymond Yeager now really trying to get past. Daniel Stevens, Edward Foster, and Hamish Gallagher and Jason Martin are quite a bit back from those guys. They've got a couple of lapped cars between them, I think. So they've got a few places to actually get up there, to actually get to the front. So they're going to have to actually fight their way up to the front now, and this is going to work out beautifully for Jason Hartigan.
Yeah, because they could and will probably burn tyres and fuel, and just to what degree they do passing those other cars is going to be dependent on how much speed they have when they do get past those cars. As we
Uh,
see Raymond over the back of Shea at the moment.
yeah, Raymond, one of those drivers that's been there and thereabouts for many, many races, not gotten a win yet, but has been threatening for it for a few years. So could be his night tonight. I have to see how this goes. But Jason Hardigan is one that looks very strong. Jason Hardigan, of course, got pole last time out at Talladega and was very strong there. So maybe this will be redemption for Talladega and actually get that first W on the box for him. But we'll have to wait and see. I won't jinx it too much more because I'll probably get punched. But got a good lead at the moment. Shea Thompson as well has just played that beautifully, and again, it's worked out perfectly for Shea. Um, in second place now, and again, much like Talladega, getting into the lead through strategy calls and a little bit of luck with the caution coming out. So that has worked out brilliantly. And Danny Stevens as well had a bit of a horror race at the beginning, but has managed to get up there into fourth place. He's now got Foster behind him and Jason Martin. Those two are starting to battle it out. So we're going to have a battle between Foster and Martin now. We're going to have to see how much faster Martin is when he's got Foster in front of him.
Yeah, we'll see how that plays out. But like we are saying, this is really playing in Jason's hands right here.
It is, and Martin was considering trying an outside line there for a couple of moments, but their lapped car came into play. And Foster is just going to try and position his car. It's going to be the widest JP Simshid car in the world at the moment. And Jason Martin is just going to be trying his best to get past there. And he's trying to get for that inside line. Foster's trying his best to keep it blocked, and he does indeed. This is great driving from Foster.
Yeah, that's Daniel Stevens there, Carl. So they are all racing for position.
They are, absolutely. And Foster's, meanwhile, he's defending and attacking as he's going. And Hamish Gallagher's just sitting behind them, waiting for things to happen. And it looks like Jason Martin has managed to get down on Foster.
Yeah, he was starting to get some pressure there behind with Hamish coming up behind him fast there. So he had to make a move.
So 49 laps to go now. It's getting closer and closer. But currently, Jason Hartigan has got a healthy lead at the moment. And it is looking good for Hartigan, Thompson, and Jaeger. So looking good for those guys. Danny Stevens has got Jason Martin all over him now. And Jason Martin is just going to make a swift move down the inside. And Foster's going to try and follow him through. Is he going to make it? Will Foster manage to get past Daniel Stevens? It's going to be close. It's going to be close. Will he do it? They're side by side as they go down the back straight. Foster goes down the inside and makes the move. Brilliant position gain for Foster as well there. Martin helping Foster out quite a lot there, and also almost helped Hamish Gallagher as well through that position. As we saw Daniel Stevens just going up high, and that lost him a lot of time. Now Foster has really got to put this foot down and start trying to catch up to Jason Martin if he has a hope of winning this race.
I noticed with Foster here tonight, he's running a slightly higher line too, which seems to be getting him a bit of a better drive all round.
Well, the slightly higher line gives you slightly better drive off the corner, of course. Get a little bit more speed on the straight. But it does slow you down a little bit mid-apex sometimes. So it's one of those sort of lines of... They can work for you. It depends on driving style sometimes. Generally running that sort of mid-line is going to give you a slightly better speed on the straight line, but it's going to cost you mid-corner. Whereas the low line is going to be a little bit faster mid-corner, but it's going to cost you on the straight as you've got to do a little bit more turning. You scrub off a little bit more speed.
Yeah, you scrub off a bit more of those tyres too.
Exactly. But we know Jason Martin can be quite good at keeping those tyres pretty fresh, and he is driving like a man possessed at the moment. He really wants to catch up to those guys. Currently behind Shea Thompson, sitting 7 seconds down, but those numbers are starting to tumble.
Yeah, and our leader is nearly a second out from anyone else, so he's just out there racing himself at the moment.
Yeah, and this is where Jason Hardigan just has to sort of take a deep breath, relax, get into like a zen-like state, focus on racing his own race, not everybody else around him, and just really keep control of the car and keep patience as well, because it's very easy to overdrive when you're in the lead. You get excited, you think about that win, and sometimes you overdo it. So it is that thing of just getting yourself centered now and just getting yourself into a rhythm.
Yeah, it's oval racing is very much a rhythm in itself.
And just looking back, the gap that Martin has pulled from Foster is fairly hefty. Um, so he's managed to pull almost a 1.5 second gap over Foster already, Jason Martin. So definitely got the speed there, Martin. Seriously fast. But Foster is managing to keep Daniel Stevens behind him as well. So there's still a bit of race here. So currently, the two Jasons are pretty much setting identical lap times down to just a couple of tenths of a second between them. There's not much as they go round um, with these laps at the moment. Uh, but that time round, Hartigan was slightly faster. So, Jason Martin has got a few lapped cars he's got to get past, a few bits of traffic and things like that, and that is going to cost him time. While Jason Hartigan has got a slightly fresher track in front of him at the moment, there are going to be some cars he's going to catch up to relatively soon, but he's going to get at least 3 or 5 clean laps now, where Martin isn't. So this could be good for Jason Hartigan. This could really help eke out a bit of a lead now.
Yeah, it'll very much help him extend his lead.
So yeah, he's doing a great job out there, and it's a long time coming. Yet Raymond Jaeger's doing a good job though, keeping there in second place. A little bit slower, he's losing a little bit of time, but not by much. And Shea Thompson as well is keeping to the back of Raymond Jaeger. So again, strong showing from Shea Thompson. Um, Brilliant drive again. We had this at Daytona as well, so a very big up and coming name for sure. But now it's going to be the big pressure thing as Jason Martin is going to start catching Shea.
Yeah, we've seen a few good finishes from Shea this year and a few good race results. Same with Raymond out there. It's just like anything in racing, it's always a gamble when you put your car out on the track. So a lot of these drivers have had unfortunate things happen during this season so far for a lot of drivers.
Yeah, well, we've seen Jason Martin have some bad luck and some bad luck caused by himself this season. He's had a few incidents this season which are a bit unlike him. He's not had the cleanest season so far, and he wants to get that. Definitely wants to get that win in the box as well. Get that sort of victory there. Get another victory under his belt for the season. And with taking out the truck championship this week, I think a win would be a great way to round off the week. But Jason Hartigan has been fighting very hard as well for that first victory. And could tonight be the night? We'll have to wait and see. As Shea Thompson starts catching on Raymond Jaeger. Really good close racing here at the moment. Just a couple of tenths between the two.
Yeah, you talk about Jason Martin winning the truck series, but Jason also Hardigan won the Xfinity series this week, so both have something to prove out here tonight. And Jason, for JP Simpson, hasn't had his first win in a cup race yet, so would be good to see him get his first win in a cup series race.
Yeah, well, of course, Joshua Carroll-Walton did get the win at Daytona, so they started out strong this year, JP Simshed. But they but it's been a little bit harder through the season, but things are starting to look a little bit better. As Well, the two Jasons have got it to prove tonight. Which champion is going to win this race? That's one of the big questions. As Jason Martin does start to nibble away the time, but not by too much. He's not catching them at a vast rate of knots.
Yep.
As I said, there are a few lap cars between him and Hartigan.
Yeah, and we're now 29 laps to go, so those laps are counting down fast.
Yeah, there's not many laps to do it in with 6 seconds. Well, more than about 7.5 seconds behind Hartigan. Jason Martin really has to do something special here, and yeah, it will be a quite impressive one if he manages to do it.
But don't put it past him either. He's a really strong and good driver.
Exactly, and all it takes is another safety car, and everything that Hartigan's worked for will be undone. So it could all change from here. Let's hope it's clean for the rest of the race, but we'll have to see how it goes.
I can see you're not having a job one day here, Carl. you already stuffed up one race win for him the other week.
As I say, I'm here with diplomatic immunity, I say. And Raymond Jaeger almost touching the wall there. The rear just stepping out through turns 4. It almost goes into the wall. Manages to collect it just in time, but that's going to help Shea Thompson get a little bit closer. As we see a car behind him just getting a little bit ropey through the corner as well. Cars are starting to lose that grip again. The tyres are starting to go off once more, and we're going to start seeing cars being a bit of a handful around these tracks and corners.
Yeah, these cars will become a handful towards the end, but that's what we were talking about earlier there with choosing to stay out longer, so we'll see what happens.
We will, and I think Mick Wilson's coming into the pits. Mick Wilson was having a bit of a struggle with the car, so I think he's coming in just for some fresh tyres, just because he was really struggling out there, it looked like. So good call for Mick Wilson there. Rather get some fresh tyres and get a finish on the list than make a big mistake and end up not finishing. It's better to finish than not to finish. As we see Jason Hartigan with his teammate behind him, and Joshua Carroll Walden, who's a fair few laps down now, 8 laps down for JCW. So quite a few laps down for himself. Josh Micklemore 10 laps down now as well, but up into 17th place, so going to get a bit of a haul of championship points at least. So not an ideal race for him, but it could have been much worse. But currently Hartigan has it. He's got a very good lead at the moment, still over the cars behind him, but it can all change in traffic. Jason Martin, though, has taken about 2 seconds out of these guys in the last 4 or 5 laps. He's about 1 to 2 tenths of a second faster than Hartigan per lap at the moment, so really coming down with speed at the moment, and yeah, really setting some serious pace out there, showing he has got the speed out there tonight. But it was just a very unlucky safety car call that has caught him out. Will he be able to get there to the end of the race? There's only 20 laps to go. I don't think so personally, but he might start getting up towards Shea Thompson and Raymond Jaeger.
Oh, Carl, you're treading on thin ice, mate. We'll just be quiet now and talk about a different driver. Who do we want to talk about? But well, we see Raymond Jaeger and Shea Thompson have made up tremendous spots since the start of this race and have done very well out here tonight.
Yeah, well, Shea Thompson started in 29th place, so up into 3rd is not bad at all. Great drive, and yeah, Raymond Jaeger himself started 20th, so up to 2nd. That is fantastic driving on their behalfs. Hamish Gallagher again has made a stellar sort of race from 12th to 6th, and then Daniel Stevens 15th to 7th. Stephen Williams 28th to 8th, so 20 positions gained for him as well. So there's been some serious climbers up there, some serious positions gained. But there have been a few positions lost just from that safety car coming out when people were pitting. So it caught a couple of people out, a couple of the big names out. People like Michael Skurlock and Danny G, for instance, who are at the moment very close to racing each other. Skurlock just ahead of Danny G at the moment, but
Yeah.
they have got caught out a little bit from that late safety car.
And we were talking about aero damage earlier, and to weigh in on that a little more, we see Joshua Carroll 8 laps down. I believe that would be due to some type of aero damage from that crash earlier, as he is missing the rear end of that car.
Yeah, it's not looking its best, is it? You must say. It's not going to have a great resale value on that car.
Nah, it's not looking as shiny and as nice and as straight with that nice JP Simshed livery on there as it did when it first came in.
Nope, the panel beaters are going to be busy tomorrow for sure.
That's the difference between, I guess, fiberglass and these steel bodies out here. You can't just pull the whole panel off and replace it.
Good old metal banging. But great battle between Skurlock and Danny G as we speak. Those two are really fighting well together and really putting on a great battle. But they are battling in front of their teammate Jason Martin. So if they keep on battling and fighting each other as hard as they are, this is going to make it all the harder for Jason Martin. And a caution comes out. Shea Thompson and Raymond Yeager are two second and third place go into each other, and that is a real shame.
We spoke too soon, Carl.
We did. Look, it was guaranteed to happen. We did talk about them. The curse of the commentators strikes again, and it looks like Raymond Yeager just went into the wall there or lost some speed. Went into the wall, lost some speed, and then bounced into Shea Thompson and bounced very hard into Shea Thompson. That is a huge amount of damage on that car. Shea Thompson is going to be lucky to have an engine still running after that. That was a huge hit on that car. Managed to keep it going, but there is going to be a lot of damage on that car for sure. Real shame for Shea Thompson and Raymond Yeager. Those two are going to be gutted from that.
Yeah, as we see some of the guys come down pit road here and some stay out, the likes of both Jason's and Edward.
Well, all the leaders are coming into the pits. It looks like everybody on the lead lap is coming into the pits, so they are all coming in. Nobody's really risking it. So they're going to get their laps back, so we'll see them probably pit on the next lap round. Stephen Williams, I think, is the one with the lucky dog, so he's going to get some good time up here. But now it's the battle of pit road. Who's going to get out first? And Jason Hartigan does get a good stop, and so does Edward Foster. Edward Foster gets out in front of Jason Martin. Foster manages to get out in front of Jason Martin. That was a great stop for Foster.
Did something happen?
14.2 for Foster and 14.7 for Martin. That's all the difference it makes, and that's the difference between those places. Hartigan actually had one of the slower stops there, but luckily had a bit of a gap between himself and the other guys, so did have that lead advantage.
Yeah, I think Jason had a really big spin up and that really slowed him down there. Pit road too. Jason Martin.
It's trouble having more than one Jason, isn't it?
I'm getting told shh, but I'm not talking about that Jason.
Yeah. We're not mentioning that Jason anymore. That Jason is non-existent to us in the commentary booth. But this has definitely helped those guys get a position up. Now there is a JP Simshed 1-2 at the front. So that's going to help that team for sure. And now they're going to do their best, I'm sure, to try and keep Jason Martin behind them for the next 10 or so laps.
Yeah, this will give Edward Foster the rear gunner position, we'll call it, and unless he can make the jump on Jason on the restart here, but I'm sure they'll be talking over team radio and knowing Edward and his kind personality, he will help Jason out to get his first win here tonight.
Yes, but there are some very dangerous cars behind him in the likes of Daniel Stevens, Hamish Gallagher, Michael Skurlock as well. And we've seen those guys have some good restarts before, so it could be a interesting one for those. So we could see those guys coming back into it. Raymond Yeager looks like didn't repair any of the damage, so has managed to keep on the lead lap. But the car is looking a little bit second-hand for sure. So we'll have to see how Raymond Yeager goes. Might start losing a few positions, but with everybody else being a couple of laps down, he might be okay with that one.
That's the only way we can afford a race car, isn't it, Carl? Second hand?
Pretty much, yeah. Even a second-hand one's too expensive for most of us, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Race cars, they're very expensive. They're only fun for a few minutes. That's the problem with real life race cars. You forget about all the horror about it, because when you dent a car in iRacing, it's not that bad. When you dent a car in real racing, you've got to fix it, and that's the worst part of motorsport, is fixing cars.
As we come under the bridge with the lights out on the safety car, so we'll be going green this time by. And interesting, I wonder if people do actually get to stand in that tunnel section there during the race.
See how Hartigan takes this one, and he's holding back, and he launches away, and he's launched away, and Foster has got a decent restart, but Martin has managed to get underneath him, and that's going to help Martin. He's going to actually get up underneath Foster. Foster's trying his best. He's doing the wall of death around there. He's doing his best. He got better exit speed there, but Martin's going to get better speed through the corner, and Martin takes the position from Foster.
But that has allowed Jason to jump out to a half-second lead there. So will that have held Jason Martin back long enough?
Will that have given him enough chance? We'll have to wait and see. Because we've seen Jason Martin has been very fast tonight, but Jason Hartigan has also not been a slouch. So this is going to be an interesting finish now. It's going to be the race of the Jasons.
Yeah, it's going to trip us up a few times here, people.
Expect me to get confused at one point. I am old and I am crap. I do warn you regularly about that. But currently Hartigan has got the lead. Martin is closing up relatively quickly though on him. Martin set a absolutely stunning middle sector time there. Fastest of the race so far. So really, really gunning it at the moment.
Yeah, hopefully he doesn't use up all his tyres too quickly here, but I'm sure Martin is a very, as we were talking, he's a veteran driver, so he'll know how to play this out.
He will. That last lap, Jason Hartigan was faster by barely, well, it was a 22.13. Jason Martin was a 22. Jason Martin was faster by 22.112. So nothing in it really in that lap. Just nothing between the two that last time round. This time though, Hartigan has got the faster lap. They are trading faster laps each time round. Almost fastest laps of the race as they go. They are really pushing it now, and Hartigan is having to really hold the pressure off of Jason Martin as we come round for lap 198. So 2 laps to go. Can Hartigan do it? He goes a little bit high. Jason Martin does try and take it. Is he going to slide up a bit high himself? He doesn't. Martin does hold that bottom line.
I noticed Jason's taken that lower line there, and that will be trying to upset Jason in front of him. Too many Jasons.
It will be indeed. So it will be the hybrid racing simulations. 1 lap to go as the white flag will come out very soon. And Hartigan is holding off Martin. He's doing his best. Martin is trying so hard. He's getting that draft. He's really pushing it. Right on the back of Hartigan. He goes up high, loses some speed. He's lost a little bit of speed there. Will he get a better exit speed? He's looking to try it. He's trying for it.
Will we see a
quite
bump
get
and
it.
run? Oh, that's my question. Will we see a bump and run coming here? Because we saw him very close there. Will we see the bump and run?
Hybrid Racing Solutions, 1 lap to go. The white flag lap is out, and will we see Hardigan do it? He's holding well. He's holding well. He's keeping Jason Martin behind him. They're coming up to the finish line, and Hardigan takes it. And that is that, ladies and gentlemen.
Well,
Jason Hardigan takes the race.
Well, we keep our jobs for another week, Carl.
We do, and Hardigan is going to be absolutely ecstatic about that. Jason Martin did finish second. Great comeback after that early pit stop, getting him a lap down. Edward Foster came third in the end. Started third, finished third. The first 3 drivers in qualifying did finish in the top 3 at least, but the first and second places were reversed. Jason Hartigan started second and he finished first. Jason Martin started first, finished second. Foster finished third and started third. So absolutely fantastic job for those guys. Hamish Gallagher managed to get himself up to 4th in the end. Danny Steedens 5th. Stephen Williams in 6th place with Danny G in 7th. 8th place was Michael Skurlock. 9th was Raymond Yeager. Raymond Yeager managing to hold on to that 9th place in the end, even after that incident. Phil Otto in 10th, 2 laps down. Norman Clark 11th. 12th was Matt Hunter. Bradley Allison 13th. 14th was Tristan Koch. 15th was Joshua Carroll Walden. Josh Micklemore was 16th. 17th was Mick Wilson. 18th was Cher Thompson. 19th Aaron Mack. 20th Lachlan. 21st Jamie Dyke. 22nd was Marco Dortnack. Lindsay Hobbs 23rd. 24th Bradley Kemp. James Roby 25th. 26th Rob Fletcher. Matthew Cluett 27th. Jake Maloney 28th. Stephen Black 29th. And Kai Sloggett in 30th. But congratulations, Jason Hardigan. We did say a win was coming his way soon, didn't we? Last race we said that, and well, it's come true quicker than we thought. He's got that win now.
Yeah, that is great. And I was just listening to the comms there, the race comms, and Jason Martin came over and said he didn't want to give other Jason a bump and run there on the final lap, second to last lap. That's why he pulled out of it and lost a lot of time there, and that's why he fell back, because he didn't want to win on a bad note.
Good sportsmanship there, but yeah, Hardigan really earned that race win. He did everything right all race long. Absolutely brilliant job. So what we will do is just wait for Mr. Hardigan to appear, and we'll grab him up to the broadcast booth. Cool. Okay. Jason Hartigan, Carl Withy here for JP Simshed Broadcasting. Congratulations on a victory.
Oh, cheers, man. That was hard work at the end with holding back old Jace, but yeah, that was fun. Far out.
The battle of the Jasons there, both champions in the trucks and Xfinity. So what you both took out championships this week, and you managed to finish it up with your first cup win. That must be a very good feeling indeed.
Oh yeah, man. As soon as I came out of turn 4, I was yelling and screaming on the radio to the boys. So yeah, sorry, I'm a little bit speechless at the moment, but yeah.
That's being puffed out after that is deserved. That looks like a bit of a grueling race there for you. It did turn around a lot, just staying out that bit longer, and that caution flag really did play into your favour.
Yeah, I was definitely lucky on that. I was going to come in the next lap actually, and then yeah, that came out, and basically Ed and Jace ended up a lap down on me, I think, when I came out. So yeah, it sort of worked out in my favour.
Yeah, your heart must have sunk though when the 2 cars behind you, Cher Thompson and Raymond Yeager, made contact and the safety car came out again, because that would have meant you were starting with Martin and Foster right behind you. How did you feel on that restart? Were you confident of keeping the position?
Yeah, I sort of just did my own sort of restart there, and I was in contact with Ed throughout, and Ed tried to keep in front of Jace, but didn't quite work out. But I guess it gave me a little bit of a buffer to work with before Jace caught me, and then yeah, got the win. So, whew.
Not much more to say than that, really. Yeah, you got the win, and it's finally come. Like we've said, it's going to be coming all season long. It's definitely one of those things that has been in the works for you. Last time out at Daytona, it wasn't quite your luck, but this time it's worked out differently. It is definitely a well-deserving victory for yourself and for the team as well, JP Simshed.
Yeah, definitely. Like we've put in a lot of work over the past 5-6 months. Getting our team up to the front, and I think it's finally starting to pay off with the results we've been getting and things like that. So yeah, definitely looking forward to the future and hopefully more results like that.
Well, I'm sure JP is hoping so. So before I let you
He actually told me today to get the win, so there we go.
Well, he'll have to tell you to win in future. That's how it works. If he tells you to win, you have to win. So that must be your lucky charm. So before I let you go, anything you'd like to say, anyone you'd like to do the shout out to for tonight, Jason?
Yeah, big shout out to our sponsors: Drive Sim, Jinx Shifters, Goodyear Auto Care, Abruzzi Racewear, Cars with Hope VR covers, and yeah, all the boys in the team, helping me out, and yeah, good, going good.
Well, I'm glad it's going good. Congratulations again. And look, I'm sure we're going to see you in the booth another time this season. You're driving so well. It's probably going to be quite soon.
Yeah, cheers, buddy. Thank you. Thank you guys for putting on such a good show as well. It's always awesome to watch back the next day type thing. So
Well, I'm sure you're going to enjoy this one.
yeah, definitely, mate.
Thanks, Jace. Have a good day.
All right, see ya.
Jason Hardigan there for JP Simshed. Yeah, absolutely fantastic win. And before I forget, because I did forget through the race, I just need to mention a sort of fresh sponsor slash shout out just for the track cams tonight. Track cams for Gourmet. Giving us some brilliant track cams out there tonight. Visit their website at trackcams22.com. Absolutely fantastic cam options out there, as you've seen with this broadcast. An absolutely fantastic job, and we are very, very thankful to have those on board with us. So next up, we'll grab down Jason Martin and have a chat to him. Jason Martin, Carl Withy here with Performance E Streaming. Sorry, JP Simshed. First time I've done that. JP Simshed Streaming. How are you going?
I'm good, mate.
I'm glad. Congratulations on that second place. That was hard work out there tonight, it looks like, for you.
Oh man, it was scary stuff. There was some guys with bad connections going all over the place, and yeah, people blowing tires. Pretty scary.
Yeah, it looked like there were a few moments out there. Obviously, Dover is one of those tracks that is very, very hard on tyres. Just with that first stint, though, you look to have it in the bag, really. Just able to keep those tyres running a little bit better than everyone else. Do you think it was a bit of your driving style, or just do you feel like you're a little bit easier on the tyres in general?
Yeah, just driving style. Try not to overcook them and take care of them, and you can get 70 to 100 laps out of them.
Yeah, you were definitely looking on board for that, and yeah, it looks like it was going to be a bit of a good one for you, and it was going well until you made that pit stop and the caution flag came out. Must have made your heart sink.
Oh, just my luck. I was kind of expecting something like that to happen. It's happened all series so far, and something again popped.
Yeah, it's been a bit of an unlucky year for you in some places. Yeah, there's been a few times where things have not gone your way. Obviously, though, we've got to mention trucks for you this year because you did take out the championship in that one. It was really the battle of the Jasons that took out championship wins tonight. Jason Hardigan taking the win though, the Xfinity champion, and you coming in second though, but winning the truck championship. So must be a bit of a good feeling for the whole week.
Yeah, that made me feel better, but yeah, still getting so annoyed with my luck here.
It was just typical luck, really. It just always the way. If the worst thing can happen, it will happen, and it's been something like that for you this year. Before I let you go, though, I'd just like to ask anyone you'd like to give a shout out for tonight.
Got to thank the boys at Mitch Motorsports. Without them, I probably wouldn't do as many laps and wouldn't be as prepared for the races. Uh, BK Designs for the paint job, and of course, JP Simshed for the broadcast so that everyone can watch the races.
Thank you so much, and we appreciate you giving us good races out there as well. The broadcast can only be as good as the race that we get, so thank you so much. And look, I'm sure we'll see you up in the booth again sometime soon. Hopefully, it will be for the P1 next time.
Cheers, mate. At least it was an exciting finish.
It was. Thank you for that. See you next time, Jason.
See yous.
Jason Martin there for Mitch Motorsport. Second place for him. It's been one of those seasons for him in the Cup where he's just had a bit of bad luck, and it's a bit followed him in places. But second place is not a bad place to be, and it seems his season is starting to turn around now. So this could be Jason Martin's march to the front again. So we've got to be careful of that, because if he gets some wind behind him, he can really get a move on.
Yeah, we've seen that with other years gone by. As soon as he starts winning, he gets the momentum going, as a lot of drivers do. Once you get the momentum going, you get those wins flowing in.
Absolutely. So next, I'm going to grab down P3, Mr. Edward Foster. Edward Foster, car with you here, JP Simshed. How are you going?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. That was a pretty enjoyable race, actually. I hope it was just as enjoyable to watch, because I sort of had a first-class view of the battle for the end, had its ups and downs and everything. So yeah, it was good fun.
It was a good race to watch. It was fun for us to call. Unfortunately, our producer was having kittens. But yeah, it was an eventful race. Just obviously, first of all, we've got to just say about that caution that came out just at the wrong time for you.
Yeah, it was one of those things, wasn't it? You know, we were the way that first caution was timed, it was going to be, I wouldn't say borderline, but I'd say a little uncomfortable to make a one-stopper work, because the tyre wear, at least for me and most of the guys that I was talking to, was pretty bad. So we kind of looked at it with about 70 laps to go, came down the pits. Martin did the same, and most of the sort of lead guys did the same. And then just at that moment, the caution's come out, hasn't it? So the guys who hadn't yet made their stop wound up ahead of us, and there were back markers in between us and all this other stuff. And then, you know, Jason, Martin and I, we were trying to fight through. I think I had Gallagher up behind, and we were trying to make our way through, and we just weren't making any impression on the guys in front. I think you had Hardigan, Thompson and Jaeger up there, and we just weren't making any impression. And then that last caution's come out and kind of reset everything and brought us all back together. So yeah, unfortunately, it involved the two guys who were sat second and third, which obviously is good for me, but it's unfortunate for them, because, you know, it would have been, I guess, a good thing for the league to have those two new faces up front getting interviewed and getting their moment in the sun. So it's unfortunate that for them that they didn't get it done, but yeah, set us up for a grandstand finish, didn't it?
It did indeed, and look, there's always next time. It's one of those things. Sometimes it just that luck. Sometimes luck comes your way and then it goes away from you, and it sort of came their way for the yellow, and then fell apart at the end there for them. Obviously, with the restart there, you had a great battle with Jason Martin on that final restart, just holding that sort of outside line and actually managing to sort of keep pace with him for a lap almost. How did you feel on that outside line? It looked very sketchy.
Look, I mean, I'm a little bit weird. I actually prefer the outside line. Of course, it's not the ideal line at every track, but certainly on tracks where the outside line is the preferred line, I tend to do quite well. And obviously, that isn't the case here. But you know, there were two things in my mind. Number one, off that restart, I really wanted to try and get second place, obviously, because a 1-2 for the team would be great. And you never know if Hardigan had a bad start, I may have even been able to grab the lead from there. But when it became clear that wasn't going to happen, my secondary goal, of course, is to, keep Martin busy, to give Hardigan as many laps as I possibly can, without Jason hunting him down, because Martin was the quickest of the three of us. So the longer I can keep him busy, the better opportunity my teammate's going to have to go out and grab the win. And that's exactly what happened. So over the moon for him. He was very unlucky to miss out in Talladega. So I'm really, really stoked for him, stoked for the whole team. It's been a bit of a rough week, but definitely to come back and put in this kind of result it's gonna perk us all up, which I think was needed. So happy.
That's good to hear, and that's the second win now for JP Simshed, of course. It's been a bit of a long time since the last win, of course, at Daytona. But 2 wins this season for a brand new team is not bad at all. It's very good going, so you must be pretty happy about that one.
Yeah, certainly. And of course, we've got the other series as well in ANZCAR, let's not forget. I mean, Hardigan just wrapped up the title in the Xfinity series, the NZ Thunder series. So that, was obviously a great piece of success. I think he won 5 races in that series, so he did extremely well. And Jason Martin and I had a really close battle for the truck title as well. I had a win in that series, so there's success going on sort of across the board. Not all of it is broadcast and everything, but certainly it's the team's heading in the right direction. Every single one of these guys has improved massively, even since the start of the season. Every driver that's in the JP's team at the moment is in the best form of their life, apart from maybe me, who's had a bit of a rough trot. But tonight's certainly kind of put us back on track. So yeah, I'm over the moon.
Yeah, you definitely had a good run out there tonight. Let's hope that luck continues. And look, you've always got the speed, you always got the talent. It's just that luck sometimes just does not fall your way. So hopefully we'll have you up in the booth again soon, and hopefully it will be from the top spot.
Yeah, it'd be fantastic. I kind of had a really good start to the year. There were just lots of tracks that seemed to suit me. The way that, iRacing's been messing with the tyres so much, and the way it was at the beginning of the season really seemed to suit me a lot better. So I had a number of races there where the start of the year, I think, in the first 3 or 4 races, I felt like I was at least in with a shot to win most of those. And then, since then, kind of gone into a little bit of a lean period and had a few results outside the top 10. And, last week was like 15th, 16th or something like that. So, it's nice to bounce back with this, and hopefully it kind of augurs well for the rest of the season. We're kind of getting into the meat of it now. So, it's all eyes forward.
Yeah, well, we've still got a long way to go. We're not even halfway through the season yet, so a lot of races to go still, so lots of chances to get there. Before I let you go, of course, anyone you'd like to give a shout out to tonight?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, the entire team. As I said, these guys are all stepping up and pushing one another and learning off of each other, and they're just working together so well. The team's just gelled so brilliantly. And even from the very first race, that was fairly apparent, and now it's just getting better and better all the time. So first of all, shout out to them. Congratulations, Chucky. First win in the Cup, man. Absolutely well-deserved. Fantastic. And, of course, we've got the sponsors as well. So we've got Abruzzi and Goodyear Auto Care, Warana. We've got Drive Sim, Jinx Shifters there as well, Cars for Hope. All of these guys that, put their money and their backing behind us so we can come and do the job here. It's invaluable for us. So thanks to all of those guys as well, and hope they're watching, and I hope that they enjoyed it as much as we did.
Awesome, thank you so much, Edward Foster, and we'll see you again, I'm sure. Have a good night.
Thank you very much. You too.
Third place man there, Edward Foster for JP Simshed. So JP Simshed 1 and 3 with Mitch Motorsport in second. Really just good, strong result there for tonight, and I think that's something the team needed. They've been up thereabouts all season and just missing out, especially at Talladega last time out, where Dave Douglas just snuck up for that win. We've said that Jason Hardigan has been looking for a win for a while now, and it's finally happened. So hopefully the pressure is off now, and we're going to see Jason Hardigan just get faster and faster.
Yeah, we'll only see him develop as a driver from here.
That's it. So next time out on the 7th of May, we're at Martinsville, a track that a couple of drivers like. Not all of them, but a
Not
couple.
Not many at all.
At least it's not Sonoma. That's the usual response. But yeah, Martinsville, so 7th of May, so we'll be back for that. Other than that, anything you'd like to finish off with, Jono?
As always, just want to thank our viewers and any new subscribers and followers that have joined the JP Sim Show Broadcasting Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube tonight. And also thank you to all of our sponsors that make this possible week in, week out.
Yeah, as always, thank you to all the people that watched and all of the sponsors. You always help us out. So other than that, it's a good night from me, Carl Withy. Good night from Mr. Jonathan Hancock, and of course JP on the cameras. And we will see you next time out at Martinsville. Bye-bye.